Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time joining me in a live session. Oh my gosh, so it is, what time o'clock is it? Look, it is 9:11 and it's Tuesday. And so one of the things that I've been focused on is going live on Tuesday to give a life transformation tip. As a transformational coach, I feel like it's important that I share my knowledge, and this is one way that I do that. And so today's tip is going to be a short and quick one, but meaningful nonetheless. So the tip I want to give is about your rhythm. And it's simple. It's just really simple. It's find your rhythm and then keep it. And so I was working on some stuff for the brand, and I was sitting here and I'm trying to figure out, things to post and things like that, and just thinking about my life in general, right? And I started thinking about the fact that when I was a kid, I know I'm going to go back. I'm not that old, but when I was younger, I used to have a lot of fun. And for those of you who don't know much about me, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, inner city, Inglewood area, right off 55th off the boulevard. If you're from the Chi, I'm going to rep my set so you'll know where I'm from. But yeah, and so we grew up in a neighborhood that was really dangerous, and we didn't realize it was that dangerous until I think really until I got out of the neighborhood, and I realized, because it was the norm for me. I didn't realize it was as dangerous as it was, like drive-by shootings, gang violence, drugs, all that stuff was around us every day. But for us, it didn't really, I don't think it really affected us while we were in it. Not too much anyway. It was more like trying to survive. And so I'm bringing this up because I want you to just follow the story, right? So growing up on the south side of Chicago, it wasn't that safe to go too far from your house. As a matter of fact, we weren't allowed to go too far. As a matter of fact, the house I grew up in was 3 houses from the corner. And so I couldn't go past the corner house, which my friends, Kiki, Misha, Jarnum, all of them lived in that apartment building. Lamont and Toya, those people lived in that apartment. And then there was our neighbors right next to me, and they were an older couple, and they were B, and I think his name was Fred. I don't know why I remember their names, but I do. I guess because I lived there for a long time, right? And then to the right of our house was my friend Alicia, and she didn't have any siblings as we were growing up, but then, her parents had kids. Anyway, the point I'm making is we couldn't go. We had to go to a certain point, and then we would be beyond what our parents would allow us to go. So we had to create games. Now, we were allowed sometimes to go on the other block as we got older. I used to go on Winchester, and, when we went to Damon, we went really far. So that's like 3 blocks over for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. But we couldn't go too far, right? And so what we have to do is create activities to do right there within like 4 house span, 5, 6 houses. We lived on a short block. There's maybe 7 houses. And so my friends and I, we would do things like jump double dutch. Have you ever jumped double dutch, or you've seen double dutch, know what I'm talking about? Just give me a thumbs up or heart or something. I want to know that you're following me. So we jump double dutch, right? And so if you've ever seen anyone jump double dutch, you know that it takes 2 people on the ends of the rope, and they're turning, right? And then if it's your turn, then, you're trying to get in the rope. But when we were growing up, we would call it digging your potatoes and all kind of stuff, like stuttering. We just call it all types of things. The point was, you were trying to get inside of the rope, but there was a certain rhythm you had to have in order to get into the rope, right? We loved double dutch. Like, that was one of our favorite pastimes. If you didn't jump double dutch, it was okay, because not everyone could master the art of double dutch, because we still had hopscotch. Now, hopscotch, for those of you who are young, I don't know who's looking at me right now and how old you are, if you even know what I'm talking about. But hopscotch, you would take some chalk, and if you didn't have chalk, you get a rock. Yeah, a rock. That's right. I told you where I was from. You would draw out this pattern on the ground. It's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then like home, right? And you would essentially number them 1 to, I think, 8 or something like that. You find another rock, and you roll the rock into the first spot, and then you have to jump over that rock. And it was a pattern that you would create. And in that pattern of picking up the rock and throwing it for the next turn, throwing it for the next turn, you had to create a rhythm. So if you weren't jumping double dutch, you weren't playing hopscotch, then maybe you played tops. Or maybe your thing was skating in the middle of our street, you know, on one skate because, you know, our parents really couldn't afford a lot of stuff. So your friend would share with you, they'd give you a skate. So we would both be on one skate holding on to each other. And when we did that, we had to make sure that we had a, yeah, you know where I'm going with this, a rhythm. And last but not least, one of the other things that we did all the time was bike ride. How many of you know anything about bike ride? Like you and your crew, you thought you were like really going somewhere far. You'd be riding your bike and you're pedaling along. You know, we had BMX. Does anybody know what a BMX bike is? Do they still make BMX bikes? Like the little cute ones for kids? I don't know. I guess I'll find out soon because my kids need a bike. But anyway, you'd be riding your bike, right? And when you first learned, it would be a little, you know, sketchy. You'd be falling off and losing your balance, and you didn't know if you wanted to go fast. And sometimes the paddle will come back and hit you on the back of your leg, and you'd be bleeding and scarred up. But eventually, when you kept trying it, you get into your rhythm, right? You know what? Those activities were preparing us for life, and I had no idea that it was at the time, because the more I did those things, the better I found my rhythm. So I just want you to go back to your inner childhood. Think about the things you did that made you have rhythm. Some of us like to juggle. I don't know. Did you ever try to juggle things? Me and my sisters did. We tried to juggle fruit or whatever else we could find, anything. We tried to juggle them. And the reality is some of the things fell short. We weren't able to catch everything each time. Something will fall. But every once in a while, we will be able to create a rhythm. And once you find the rhythm, then you create the rhythm, and then you can keep the rhythm. You figure out what rhythm works for you, because sometimes riding a bike, my sisters will go faster than me. Didn't mean that I was out of sync. It just means that I wasn't in rhythm with them. Other things were like jumping rope. Some people can do pop-ups and crisscross and all those things, mambo, all of it, right? But not everyone can do that. Some people just do the basic jumping, but they found their rhythm. So I'm here to tell you that your transformation tip for this week is to find your rhythm. Go back to the things that you used to do that allowed you to figure yourself out, to figure out what worked, to figure out what doesn't work, change it, modify it, you know, increase the speed, slow it down, add another component, take away some things. Find your rhythm. You know, for me, it's what time is it? 9:19 Central Time. And I am still trying to find my rhythm. You know, I'm a wife and I'm a mom. And now I'm building my own brand. And I also have a job. And, you know, hey, the list goes on and on, right? I'm a sister, I'm a friend, and I'm just finding my rhythm. So I thank you for your patience tonight with me, joining me this late as I find my rhythm, and behoove you to find your rhythm as well. Find your rhythm, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't work. Create your own juggling act. Get rid of the stuff that doesn't work. Try it in a different way. Maybe it's not that it doesn't work. Maybe you need to slow down. Maybe for some other things, you're missing a mark because you're going too slowly. Figure it out. I promise you, if you sit back and think, you'll remember some of the activities that you did as a child that prepared you for the very moment that you're in right now. Find your rhythm and then keep it. I'm Des of Des 360, a transformational coach. Have a great